Hello everyone, welcome to Adventure of a Lifetime. This was developed and published by Moe Novel, and this was released on April 26, 2018. Let's go ahead and start.
さあ、物語の扉を開こう。
It's true that I grew up in the middle of a totally unremarkable commuter town.
あなたの故郷はどこ?
When people ask me that, it's the ocean that springs to mind. Even now I can see that endless blue expanse stretching out as far as the eye can see. My mind is right there in those beautiful, clear waters. Somewhere near the bottom. Even down here, light from the surface still reaches me. The sparkling rays of the sun illuminate the otherworldly scenery. So quiet, so peaceful. And even as the fish swim by, it feels like I'm drifting through the sky. But then I start swimming after her. Wait up, Chisa! As I struggle to keep up, Chisa turns to me.
早く来ないと置いてっちゃうよ.
She says while making a teasing gesture. I can't help but wonder how she swims like that. It's like watching a sea creature in the wild. She's so at home in the water. I've never been a great swimmer myself, so I can only try to keep up. So why would I even consider the bottom of the sea as my home too? To be honest, I don't really get it myself. I guess my memories of the sea are just more vivid than anything on land. I'll probably never experience anything like it in my life again. There's something my grandpa always used to say. Life is adventure. It was that attitude that suddenly took him away to a tropical island. My grandpa really loved that ocean. As I watched the bubbles float away from me, I noticed the sun's rays filtered down through the water. The ocean floor looks pretty, but that beauty has a cruel edge to it. Humans didn't evolve to survive in that kind of environment. Maybe that's why it's easy to feel lonely when you're at the bottom. Just what would happen if I were left down here all alone?
ほら、早くおいで.
Lucky for me, I'm not alone. I have a buddy, the girl tugging insistently on my arm. Even years after journeying through that deep blue, I can still remember how her touch always kept me calm. That might explain why. Why, when I see the ocean, I feel like I've come home. It was at moments just before dawn where the sky gradually lightens. The ship was cutting through the gentle waves, sailing further into the Pacific. Unable to sleep, I left my second-class cabin and its rock-hard mattress behind to take a walk. Sure is nice and cool this time of day. The smell of the salty air brought back all kinds of memories of summers past. It'd be another 6 hours until the boat arrived at the island. 6 hours wasn't a lot compared to the 4 years I'd been away, but with nothing to do, I was really bored. Feeling restless, I went up on deck. Huh? Someone else is here? I didn't think I'd run into any other passengers at this hour. But over by the deck railing was a girl looking out toward the horizon. The sea breeze was blowing her hair around. Her hair was pale blonde, but it looked natural. From what I could see of her face, she didn't look Japanese. She was really pretty. A beautiful girl silhouetted against all the colors of the pre-dawn sky. It was like something out of a movie. The only thing that felt out of place were her clothes. Why the school uniform? Those sailor-style uniforms were common in the city, and she looked about my age, so she was probably in high school. Could she be a foreign exchange student? All the way out here? I just couldn't figure it out. The girl finally seemed to notice me. Hello. She ignored me and turned away. Maybe I should have just left her alone. Maybe you can't understand me. Should I try another language? I don't know how to say good morning though.
おはようって言えばいいじゃない。
The girl said in flawless Japanese.
私、こう見えて日本人だから、ハーフだけど。
She sounded irritated. It must be annoying when someone assumes you don't speak their language just because of your appearance. I guess that was pretty rude of me. I'm sorry.
いいわ。
She went back to gazing out across the water, her expression still a little sad. The boat we were on was a ferry service. It was taking us to the Ogasawara Islands from Tokyo. It would take 24 hours. If you would like to read all that, feel free to pause the video. The passengers were mostly tourists, people traveling for pleasure. I guess that included me too. But this girl was different. She didn't look like she was here for fun. What brings you to Ogasawara? Guess she doesn't want to talk. But I'm nothing if not persistent. I'm going there to visit my grandma. It's been 4 years since I saw her last. Still no response. So, you ever been diving? Scuba, I mean. You know, with the tanks and stuff. You should give it a try. There are places around here you can go even if you're not licensed. The atmosphere just seemed to get more awkward the more I spoke. Just as I was starting to get regret saying anything in the first place, I finally got a response.
海は嫌いよ。
Then why come here? I blurted out without thinking. If you didn't like the ocean, then Ogasawara was not the place for you. The blonde girl fell silent again, deep in thought. As if on cue, a sudden noise rang out, snapping her out of her reverie. The girl took her ring smartphone out of her pocket and glared at the screen.
しつこいな。いい加減にしてよね。
With one last disgusted look at the device that dared to disrupt her quiet thoughts, she raised her hand above her head, then swung her arm forward. Hey! And her phone flew from her hand, out into the sea. The piercing ringtone became more and more distant before it vanished completely. What do you think you're doing?
いいのよ。もう必要ないから。
Excuse me, but I don't think you can just chuck random objects into the sea. That's not the point. The ocean's not your trash can. She probably wasn't expecting me to call her out on littering. Think about the damage to the environment.
ごめんなさい。
Oh man, now we're too far away to get back. I leaned over the handrail as far as I could, but there was no chance of getting the phone back. After an uncomfortable silence, she grumbled a complaint.
だから嫌いなのよ。海なんて。
I guess she just needed to let off some steam. You know, ocean is pretty much all there is in Ogasawara. What's she doing on this boat if she doesn't like the sea? A gust of wind blew toward us. Brushing her long blonde hair out of her face, the girl spoke again.
取り戻しに行くの。海に沈んだ大切な宝物を。
After that, she said no more. She just stared out at the sky as dawn turned into day. I could tell she wanted to be alone, so I decided to head back to my cabin. Before leaving the deck, I took one last look at this enigmatic girl. A journey to get back something precious lost at sea. It sounded like a silly reason for a trip, but there was something in her expression that told me she was dead serious. Even as I walked back to my cabin, I couldn't wipe that girl's serious face from my mind. It was 11:34 a.m. After a quiet voyage. The ferry docked in Futami Port on Chichijima, the transport hub of Ogasawara. Again, pause the video if you would like to read that little description of Chichijima. Okay, it's not too long, maybe I'll just read it out loud. Part of the Chichijima archipelago, the second largest island in the Ogasawaras, and along with Anijima and Ototojima make the Chichijima archipelago. Iwajima is the largest, however, it's 300 kilometers away. These deep ocean islands have never been connected to the continents, and as a result have an abundance of unique native species. Alright, finally here. I stepped out the boat, glad to have my feet on solid ground again. The port was packed with tourists just arriving and locals coming to welcome them. Futami Port, a westward port located on the north of Chichijima that connects Ogasawara and the mainland. It also serves as shelter from storms for nearby ships. It only sees one liner a week, 2 in busy seasons. I glanced over the crowd of people standing with what looked like hotel signs in their hands. Someone was supposed to be meeting me here. No show, huh? Oh well. It's not like this was my first time here. I already knew where to go. As I was walking down a familiar road, the crowd of people came forward to question the ferry's passengers. From what I could make out, they were looking for someone, and not just to take them to their hotel. I wonder what's going on. It was none of my business, really. Or so I thought. That's when I caught sight of a girl hiding in the shadows, doing her best to sneak away unnoticed. Hey, aren't you? It was the girl in the sailor uniform I'd seen on deck early this morning.
お、そこの君。
One older man fought through the crowd and made his way toward us. The blonde girl behind me flinched reflexively.
マチコさんとこのヒロ君かい？
Huh? Oh, yes. Hi, how are you? I used to see this guy around all the time back when I visited the islands more often.
やっぱり大きくなったな。
It's good to see you again. What's going on here?
ちょっと人探しを頼まれててね。金髪のハーフの女の子見なかったかい？
Well... She's actually right behind me. But I couldn't bring myself to rat her out. At this rate, they'd find her soon anyway.
お、ヒロ君、その子は。
And just like that, she was caught. Oh, her, this is, you see...
お兄ちゃん。
え？
お兄ちゃん。
Right, of course, this is, my younger sister. Sure is nice weather today, huh?
そうね、お兄ちゃん。
Our eyes and hair were completely different colors. We didn't look the least bit alike.
ヒロ君、妹さんなんかいたっけ？
Yeah, well, this is the first time I brought her to Ogasawara. She was looking forward to summer vacation so much, she even dyed her hair. Such a brat. The man's eyes were boring into me now. Well, we'd better get going. Lots to do today. Come on, sis.
お兄ちゃん。
I grabbed her hand and led her away as fast as I could without looking suspicious. Okay, I think this is far enough. From the port, we headed along Omura Beach before turning into Ogamiyama Park. Omura Beach, a beach near Futami Port. Since it's the closest beach to the port, it's popular with tourists as well. Its beaches are made of coral dust, a local term for coral that has been ground to sandy texture by the waves. Sometimes you can find lovely unbroken pieces of coral mixed in as well. Oh, sorry. I realized I was still holding her hand. Ogamiyama Park, an ocean-facing city park on Chichijima, comprised of the hilly Ogamiyama area and the flat section of central Omura facing Futami Port. It hosts a wide variety of natural environments. There are wooden stages during summer festivals, and the Bon Festival is held here. She blushed, rubbing her wrist gently.
助けてくれてありがとう。ヒロ君?
Hiroki Mizuno at your service. And you are?
白瀬エミリーよ。
Emily Shirase. Okay. We met this morning, right? On the deck of the ferry. It seemed like she finally remembered me. Maybe she was too busy trying to get away to notice before. I could only wonder what she was running from, all alone and still in her school uniform. Emily took a plastic bottle out of her bag and gulped down some juice. She'd really worked up a sweat during our escape. I soon realized I was just as tired. Too bad there weren't any vending machines nearby.
飲む?
Huh?
助けてくれたお礼。安くてごめんね。
Oh, thanks. I took the plastic bottle and stared at it for a moment. I wasn't used to sharing drinks with someone. I guess that must not be a big deal wherever she was from. Then again, when I first met Emily, she did bring up the fact that she was Japanese. If this was just a girl from my class, I probably wouldn't freak out so much, but she was so beautiful. Doing my best to look casual, I took a few sips. It was only orange juice, but right then it felt like the best thing I'd ever tasted. I was probably thirstier than I'd realized.
もし機会があったら、もっとちゃんとしたお礼するわね。
Oh, don't worry, it was nothing. All I did was grab her hand and run after all. Back at Omura Beach, there's a little spot called Machiko's Cafe. My grandma runs it and she's a really good cook. Come by sometime, if you'd like.
わかった。
Emily flashed me a bright smile before turning away.
ありがとう、ヒロ君。
She looked back at me one last time before waving and quickly walking away. I watched her until she was out of sight. She looks really nice when she smiles. Compared to when I saw her on the deck, on the verge of tears, I thought this smiling face suited her better. With that little adventure concluded, I headed back to Futami Port. What was up with her anyway? I hope she wasn't a stowaway or something. She left the boat the same as the rest of us, so probably not. She didn't look like she would cause trouble either. But I still felt a nagging uncertainty. I'd gotten so caught up in helping her, I wasn't sure that was even the right thing to do now. I had thought about asking the people searching for her for more information, but they had already moved on. The port had been so busy before, but now it was almost deserted with only a few tourists milling about with cameras. Apart from the tourists was a girl standing alone, looking bored. She was around the same age as me, with a tan and long black hair tied in a ponytail. Could that be her? She might be the person who was supposed to meet me here, but I wasn't sure, so I tried getting a little closer. Is it her? I really can't tell. It had been 4 years since I'd seen her. And people do change. I'd grown more than 7 inches in that time and probably looked different in other ways too. Excuse me. There you are, the best girl, Chisa. The girl's ponytail bounced as she turned to face me with a blank expression. Crap, wrong person after all. Standing next to her this closely, it was obvious she was different from the person I was looking for. I was looking for a tomboy, not a cute young lady. Sorry, my mistake. I tried to laugh off the mistake, but just then, a cry of distress rang out behind us. A woman had dropped her camera in the sea while trying to take a photo of the ferry setting sail. That's no way to start a vacation, huh? Without another word, the girl beside me started taking off her clothes. She didn't stop at her jacket, but slipped out of her shorts too, her skin glowing under the sun. I made a real effort not to stare, but this wasn't something you saw every day. What the hell are you doing? Out in public, no less. To my surprise, she wasn't wearing regular underwear, but a bikini swimsuit.
持ってて、すぐ戻るから。
Shoving her clothes into my hands, the girl with the tan and ponytail kicked off her sandals and ran. Hey, where are you going?
ちょっと拾ってくる。
By the water's edge, the woman paced back and forth, worried about her camera. The girl casually ran right past her. And with a jump, she dove right in. What? She dove off! I was so shocked and confused. I found myself staring down at the sea alongside the woman who lost the camera.
どうしましょう。大丈夫かしら、あの子。
I have a feeling she will be. She was always reckless, so I guess that hasn't changed. I said, mumbling my thoughts out loud. Now I knew it had to be her. After a few minutes, a hand holding a camera shot out of the water, followed by a head.
拾ってきたよ、おばさん。
The woman stared in silent amazement. But the sidewalk was pretty high above the water surface, so the girl couldn't climb back up. She'd have to swim around a place where she could climb up or get someone to help pull her up. Here, grab my hand. I reached out toward the girl, who stared blankly for just a second before shaking her head.
いい、下がってて、危ないから。
I did as she asked, a bit confused. Then, with a mighty splash, the girl leapt right out of the water. What? There's also the second best character. A large animal, several times her size, leapt from the water with her.
イルカだわ。
The girl used the boost from the dolphin to help her jump. A moment later, she was back on shore.
と、ただいま。
Meanwhile, the dolphin dove back below the waves, sending water everywhere.
こら、わざとでしょ、今の。
The dolphin poked its head up and gave a squeak that sounded a lot like laughing.
もう、いたずらばっかりして。
Nice to see you haven't changed too much, Chisa.
Huh?
You look different, so I didn't recognize you at first. There's only one girl I know crazy enough to dive into the sea like that.
ああ、やっぱりヒロキだったんだ。
We stared at one another for a moment longer as a flood of memories finally helped us recognize each other. This was, without a doubt, my childhood friend Chisa Ogasawara, come to help welcome me back.
待ってて、これ返してくる。
She gave the camera back to the tourist who was still stunned, barely able to believe what she'd just seen.
壊れてなきゃいいけど。
あ りがとう。動くみたい。防水機能ついてるから。
そうよかった。
あなたもしかしてイルカ少女？
ええ、はい。
Chisa gave a forced smile.
やっぱりテレビで見たわ。イルカと泳ぐ女の子。ということはあのイルカちゃんが
九太郎です。
I wasn't sure if Finn was responding to his name or not, but he let us use his friendly squeaks.
まあかわいい。
The woman started taking pictures of Finn on her phone and her recently recovered camera.
どうやらカメラは無事みたいね。
Chisa smiled wearily and let the tourist her photography. Well, anyway, it's good to see you again, Chisa.
久しぶりだね、ヒロキ。っていうか、どこ行ってたのよ。待ってたんだからね。
Sorry about that. I was feeling nostalgic and I went for a walk. I had a feeling that telling her I ran off with a beautiful girl I met on the boat wouldn't be doing me any favors.
そんなの後にしなさいよ。もう。
Chisa glared at me while wringing out her wet ponytail. The action had me feeling some kind of way, so I had to look away. As far as appearances went, she had changed a lot. The last time I visited Ogasawara, I was still in elementary school. Back then, Chisa could easily have been mistaken for a boy. But now, well...
どうした？
That bikini was doing a great job of showing out Chisa's full figure. The healthy glow the sun had left on her tan skin made her look like she was bursting with energy. When we were kids, she always had a tan, but this was different somehow. No, not really.
変なの。
Finn looks like he's doing well. Eager to change the subject, I looked over to the dolphin. Other tourists had joined the women, and they were all snapping photos like their lives depended on it. A born showman, Finn was darting around, letting everyone get a good look at him. Chisa looked worried though.
あんまり近づかない方がいいですよ。
But it was too late. With a flip of his tail, Finn sent a cascade of water over the assembled tourists. A moment later, they were all drenched from head to toe. And as for Finn, he clearly found the whole thing hilarious. His sweet and innocent demeanor gone, he looked all too pleased with himself.
その子、性格歪んでるんで。
Finn sent a final spray of water our way before swimming off toward the open ocean.
「でっかくなったね。顔もなんか男っぽくなって、最初誰かわかんなかったよ。
I was thinking the same too, more or less.
そう？そんなに変わったかな。
Chisa glanced down at herself. She was partially dressed now, wearing her bikini top and shorts. Her well-defined curves were there for all to see, her skin glistening in the sun. It was quite obvious that she had changed, but she didn't seem to realize it herself. Well, your hair's longer now.
そこか。
We continued chatting as we made our way to my grandma's house. Machiko's Cafe. It was a quaint cafe with an open terrace so that the view could be enjoyed with the food and drink served. It was usually open during lunch, but now there were no customers to be found.
公 声かけられた時ナンパかと思っちゃったよ。いるんだよね、観光に来た人でさ。
I'm sure it does. I was still finding it hard to believe how different my good friend looked now. How do you deal with guys like that?
彼氏いるからって言って断るかな。しつこい時はさっきみたいに海へ飛び込んで逃げる。
She said while mimicking the dive she did earlier.
そのための水着だからね。
So you wear it all the time?
うん。
As Chisa struck a dramatic pose, her breasts squished together, creating some impressive cleavage.
どうした？
Nothing. I could feel the blood rushing to my face.
もしかして。
Chisa's gaze wandered down to her chest.
なわけないか。
Without waiting for an answer, she went to the back door and called out to my grandma.
マチコばあちゃん、ヒロキが着いたよ。
There was no reply.
聞こえてないのかな。
She probably doesn't want to get up since her legs have gotten pretty bad. Don't worry, I got it from here. I picked up my bags and entered the cafe. But when I did,
誰が来ていいって言った？
whoa! Grandma!
何しに来たこの悪ガキ。
We talked on the phone, remember? I told you I was coming to help.
あたしゃ来るなって言ったはずだよ。
Grandma raised her cane threateningly.
危ないよ、マチコばあちゃん。
船があるうちに帰れ。
Watch it!
ばあちゃん、落ち着いて。
But Chisa and I couldn't get through to her though, so we decided to make a strategic retreat. Jeez, I was hoping she'd mellow it out a little.
元気だよね。
Fight? More like full-on aggression. She's a hazard to my health. A few years ago, my grandpa had passed away. Grandma wanted to keep the cafe going, but her legs couldn't keep up. She told me she was going to close shop this summer. Machiko's Cafe, a fictional open terrace cafe run by Hiroki's grandmother, Machiko. It's more of a diner than a coffee shop, and has meal sets using locally gathered ingredients. It's a popular place for evening relaxation with locals. Since Machiko's legs are getting bad, it's been said to close this year. That's why I came back to Ogasawara to help out the cafe one last time. Well, that was the plan. But I know how she is, so I wasn't surprised.
どうすんの？ばあちゃん頑固だから許してくれないかも。
It's fine, I'll work something out. I'd actually come here knowing full well that this could happen. Anyway, where are we going next? With no place to stay, I just followed Chisa around for a while. Right now we're in Chichijima's shopping district.
積もる話もあるし、お昼もまだだけど、これを先に済ませておかないとね。
What's that? Chisa stopped outside one of the few supermarkets on Chichijima.
決まってるでしょ。買い出しよ。
There were already a lot of customers bustling around inside. Oh yeah, today is cargo day. The Ogasawara Islands are so remote, it takes 24 hours to get here from Tokyo. So life here was a little different from the rest of the country. One big difference was cargo day. When ships come in on cargo day, locals flooded the supermarkets. The ships carried over tourists like myself, but also the food and supplies needed for daily life. So on cargo day, everyone was in a rush to get the latest goods. They'd buy in bulk to stow away until the next shipment. No one wanted to risk having to go without. That's just the way it was. It sure takes me back. It was one of the enduring aspects of the Ogasawarian lifestyle. Did you just bring me along to help you carry stuff?
文句言わないの。マチコばあちゃんとこの買い物リストも預かってるんだから。
Chisa waved the shopping list in my direction. Picking up extra supplies was all in a day's work for a good neighbor like her. And if that was the case, I couldn't complain. Even if I'd just gotten here, it was the least that I could do. I followed Chisa into the battlefield, known as the local supermarket. So, heavy.
半分持つよ。
No, I'll be okay. I wouldn't be much of a gentleman if I did that. I said as I carried the 4 hefty shopping bags in my arms. These bags included a week's worth of food for Chisa's family, my grandma, and supplies for the cafe.
ほー、かっこいいね。
Come on, don't tease me.
からかってないよ。私が相手でも男の子してくれるんだって思ってさ。
She was enjoying this way too much. Chisa skipped off ahead of me like she didn't have a care in the world. I followed her back toward the cafe, hoping Grandma had cooled off by now. As we walked through the streets, I noticed tourists looking at us now and then. Some even called out to Chisa and asked if they could take a photo with her. Each time she politely declined. You're a real celebrity, huh?
迷惑この上ないわ。
Just as the woman at the harbor had said, Chisa had been on TV the other day. She was introduced as the Dolphin Girl of Ogasawara. A beautiful young girl who swam with her dolphin friend, who wouldn't want to do a story on that. I didn't see it myself, only found out about it afterwards.
見なくていいよ、あんなの。
She was blushing now, clearly uncomfortable with the subject. Finn was a stray dolphin that, for some reason, had been chased out of his pod. When Chisa first found him, he was tiny, weak, and injured, probably picked on by other dolphins. With some advice on the caretaker at the aquarium, she'd managed to nurse the dolphin back to health. Poor boy. And since he'd stayed in the waters around Chichijima even after he recovered, he was still good friends with Chisa. We'd all play together as children, but I wasn't a great swimmer, and with Finn's personality, things didn't always go well. Even though I tense up whenever I see a dolphin, I can't shake the feeling that they're hiding a devious nature beneath that cute facade. At least he taught me that some dolphins aren't as friendly as they look.
九太郎はね。
And you can't always judge by appearances, and that goes for humans and dolphins.
おーい、チサ
Right then, a slim but muscular guy bowled up beside us on a bike.
りょうちゃん、どうしたの？
おお、人探してんだ。金髪で学校の制服着たお前と同い年ぐらいの女の子なんだけどよ。見てないか？
Chisa shook her head.
さっきまで港にいたけど見なかったな。何者なの？
なんか家出娘らしい。親父の知り合いの娘で島に来てるから探してくれって頼まれたんだ。船を降りたところで見つけたんだが、なんかマチコばあちゃんとこのヒロが邪魔したとかで。
And with that, Ryota Ninomiya's eyes finally wandered over to the guy standing beside Chisa, holding the grocery bags.
誰だ？
噂の男、マチコばあちゃんとこのヒロキだよ。
She looked at me accusingly. By now, Chisa had probably worked out why I hadn't been there when she came to meet me at the port. Hey, Ryota. Been a while.
マジで？あのヒロかよお前。久しぶりだな。
Ryota said as he clapped his hand on my shoulder. Yeah, you look like you've been doing well.
おう、元気だぜ。
Ryota flashed a smile while flexing his biceps. When the three of us were kids, Ryota had always been the leader of our group. He looked a little bit like a delinquent, but he had a heart of gold underneath all those muscles.
その子何しに島に来たの？観光じゃないんだよね。
わかんねえ。捜索願いも出してて結構慌ててる感じだったって。もしかしたら自殺志願者かもしれね
Oh god, I hope not.
ただのプチ家出じゃないの？
え。だといいんだが、ヒロは知り合いじゃないのか？
I saw her on the ferry and we talked for a bit. It was really just by chance that we bumped into each other.
そうか。もし見かけたら知らせてくれ。
And with that, Ryota and his bicycle continued down the road.
迷惑な話ね。小笠原は家出しに来る場所じゃないっての。
Yeah. I was starting to realize that my actions may have more serious consequences than I thought.
なーにそわそわしてんの？
I'm good. Say, how about we go for a walk for a bit?
食材腐っちゃうじゃん。探しに行きたいなら後にしなよ。
It seemed that being left behind at the port had put Chisa in a bad mood. She briskly walked ahead. I picked up the bags and shuffled after her. It was a lively scene down at Umura Beach. And since there were surely no beaches like this near Tokyo, this time of year brought crowds of people to the sands.
いないね、それらしい子。
Yeah. We had come back to the beach to search after taking the groceries home, but there was no sign of Emily.
金髪で青い目をしたハーフの女の子でセーラー服着てるんでしょ？他に特徴は？
Well, she was really pretty too. That was the most distinguishing feature I could remember, but Chisa was not impressed.
ふーん、可愛かったんだ。
Actually, I said pretty.
一緒じゃん。
I was sure that some difference existed. Emily was almost doll-like in her beauty, and she was put together very well, so to speak.
ふーん、へー。
What?
別に色気づいちゃって。ああ、やだやだ。
Chisa put her hoodie back on and pulled her zipper up to her neck. I guess that my wandering gaze didn't feel as innocent as before. Then off she went. Chisa, where are you going?
あっちに人気のないとこがあるでしょ。行って探してみようよ。
Oh, I thought you were leaving because you were mad at me.
なんで私が怒んなきゃいけないのよ。
Chisa was obviously upset, but she had made a promise to search for Emily. If someone asked her for help, she never could say no. It was nice to see that some things were still the same.
ヒロとの再会を祝して乾杯。
Everyone brought their glasses together.
改めて、おかえり、ひろき。おかえりなさいなのです。
Wow, guys, you really didn't have to.
何言ってんだよ水くせえな。ほら飲め飲め。
Ryota poured more juice into my glass. Grandma's cafe was open now, but about half the seats were reserved for my welcome back party. Some kids from the neighborhood and a few adults I recognized had gathered to celebrate. I'm sure everyone just wanted a reason to get together and make a little noise. A few of them had already split off from the group to hit the bottle.
うるさい連中だよ。営業妨害で叩き出してやろうかい。
まあまあ、まちこばあちゃん抑えて。
でもほんと久しぶりだよな。何年ぶりだっけ？
4年ぶり。チナが前にヒロ兄と会ったのは6歳の時だって記憶してる。
This little girl's name was Chinami. She sat up straight in her chair, her legs dangled over the edge, slowly sipping at her drink.
あんた、よくそんな小さい頃のこと正確に覚えてるわね。
あなたとは違うのです。我が子姉よ。
誰がグアネだ。
Chinami was Chisa's younger sister. She was a little, well, different. You're really grown, Chinami. What grade are you now?
小学4年生。
その割には小さいのよ、この子。背の順で一番前なのが悩みなんだよね。
余計なことは言わなくていい、子姉。身長なんて後からついてくるから、多分。
ちなみはもっと外出ろ。家でインターネットばっかしてるからそんなもやしっこになっちまうんだ。
Chinami gave an exhausted sigh.
外で遊べば身長が伸びるとでも？それこそもやしじゃないんだから。これだから脳まで筋肉でできている御人は。
Sure, you don't speak like other kids your age.
家でネットばっかしてるからね。
Chinami had a good sense of humor, but sometimes I worried about how she'd get on later in life.
ほらヒーロー、島寿司食え食え。
Ryota pushed the plate of sushi toward me. Shimazushi was a specialty dish here in Ogasawara. If you would like to read that, feel free to pause the video. Slices of local fish are marinated and put on the sushi rice. Unlike regular sushi, it's eaten with mustard paste instead of wasabi. Apparently, it was originally brought here from Hachijojima in the Izu Islands. This taste brings back memories.
そうだろう。うちの母ちゃんの島寿司はうまいからな。
Ryota's family ran a fishery, so when it came to seafood, he was an expert. A few other people also brought their favorite home-cooked Ogasawaran dishes.
あんたら、うちは持ち込み禁止だよ。宴会ならよそでやっとくれ。
他にもいろいろあるぞ。ヒロが来てるって言ったら母ちゃん張り切っちまって。
聞いちゃいない。
そういや、りょうちゃん。例の家出娘は見つかったの？
Chisa and I had searched all afternoon, but she was nowhere to be found.
いや、まだだって。どこ行っちまったんだろうな。
He answered nonchalantly, sipping his oolong tea.
それってやばいんじゃないの？
かもな。
家出娘とは？
今日の船で島に来た子よ。目的は不明だけど家出だろうって。金髪でセーラー服着てるんだっけ？チナ、あんたは見なかった？
金髪でセーラー服。
Chinami's brows furrowed in concentration, as if she were trying to recall something.
いや、いいわ。あんたに聞いたのが間違いだった。あんた、今日家から一歩も出てなかったでしょう。今だってヒロキがいるからってやっと外に出てきたんじゃない？
うるさいぞグアネ。今考え事をしているのです。
だから誰がグアネだ？
Meanwhile, I was slowly starting to panic. If something happened to Emily, it would be my fault for assisting in her escape. To be honest, I would have left the party there and then if it were possible.
ヒロ
Chinami tugged on my sleeve. What's up, Chinami?
金髪でセーラー服の家出娘というのは、例えばあんな感じの人でしょうか？
Chinami pointed shyly to the road by the cafe. Though she could be a bit pretentious around her sister, Chinami was pretty timid. This road could only take you to Omurada Beach. The only reason to use it would be the travel between the beach and the cafe. In the shadows of the roadside trees, a figure was looking this way. Huh? Hey! The moment our eyes met, Emily vanished behind the tree.
あんな感じの人を見つければ良いのですか？
Not someone like that. That is her. Good job, Chinami. I gave her a gentle pat on the head.
褒められた。
But what was Emily doing over there? There was only one way to figure that out, so I walked over to where she was hiding.
おお、いた！金髪セーラー服。
どこ？
Startled by Ryota's voice, Emily turned and ran. Wait! Emily! I dashed out of the cafe and tried to catch up. Emily! I called out for her, but there was no reply. I chased after her from the cafe, but I'd already lost sight of her. The others had joined me in the search, but were unable to find her.
いた？
No.
こっちもだ。
Chisa and Ryota had searched in a different area.
りょうちゃんが大きい声出すからだよ。あんな風に指さされたらあの子じゃなくてもビビるって。
すまねえ、つい。
Ryota hung his head in shame, but even then, he was still taller than the rest of us.
でもなんであの子店に来たのかしら。
腹が減ってたんじゃないか？
わざわざまちこばあちゃんの店に来るかな。繁華街の方行かない？
逃亡中だから人の多い場所は避けたんだろう。
I may have invited her earlier. When we split, I told her about the cafe. She probably doesn't know the island well, so maybe she came to check it out.
ふーん。
Chisa's expression looked grim.
あの子、エミリーって言うんだ。
Yeah, Emily Shirase.
ほんのちょっと会っただけの割にやけに親しそうじゃない。
What do you mean?
なんでもない。私、あっち探そっと。
じゃあ、俺は山の方行ってみる。
Left alone, I headed toward Futami Port. And I have run out of time, but if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like, comment what you think so far of the girls, or anything in general. And please subscribe to the channel. If you would like to watch more of this, please check the playlist down below. If you would like to watch other visual novels, please check the channel. Thank you, and take care.